Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Deadpool saying chimichangas over and over again, even though he doesn't like them. Bet you didn't know that. Did you? For a while, I haven't really been that interested in the MCU, and I think that's something a lot of people can relate to. It's not that I'm not interested in Marvel, though. I still read comics and watch animated projects. And there's always still good Marvel films coming out every once in a while, but I feel like I just get lost every single time a good movie comes out because after that, it's a while until another good one comes out. Because, like, the last Marvel movie I saw in theaters, I think, was Guardians 3, and that did not come out this year. So, I've been bored with the MCU, and it all started to feel the same. Every character and plot all comes down to being too similar to ignore anymore. At the beginning of Phase 4, I would defend the MCU because honestly, the beginning of Phase 4 isn't bad at all. I think a lot of it is good. While some of it is mediocre, I feel like overall it's pretty good. But as the phase keeps moving on, it just all seems to fall apart. And the concept of the multiverse getting introduced in Phase 4 was something I was so excited about when I heard about it, but now it's just all gotten stale. All of it. Nothing is special anymore. This movie, though, is something special. And I enjoyed this movie quite a lot, and it made me actually interested in what might happen next in the MCU. Although I'm not completely in yet, I mean, it's going to be kind of hard to get me as interested as I used to be. I mean, I've seen most Marvel movies like 5 times, even the ones I don't like. But now it's boring and I barely even see them one time. I haven't even seen the Marvels yet. I just remembered that. At least Captain America 4 looks kind of good. Might see that, but that's next year, so something that nobody can deny about this movie is the chemistry between the two main characters. It is the whole drawing point of the entire movie. It's why it exists. So it makes sense why it never gets old throughout the entire runtime, and I'm really glad that it doesn't actually. Some of the jokes don't land, of course, but I never got tired of seeing these two not get along with each other. And it's pretty astonishing that the writers can juggle an alright plot that involves arcs for both main characters while also having them get enough time to be entertaining with each other. And it makes it feel a lot better than the other two movies because, other than Deadpool, nobody else really changes for the better or worse in those movies. And even then, if you really think about it, does Deadpool change that much? I mean, he does change, that's for sure, but for the most part, this version of Deadpool was always, like, empathetic in some way or another. He just becomes more so over time, except when it involves a joke. That's very obvious in this movie. I guess that's my main problem with these movies. Deadpool is such a deep and nuanced character in the comics, mostly before the game came out, but oh god, that game. I'm gonna talk about that game at some point. That game created Meme Pool, which isn't all that bad sometimes, but when he's like that, it removes all the mental problems and depression that is hiding behind the jokes that he's making. So really, he's just annoying and making references to pop culture, which isn't all that bad, or couldn't be all that bad if done correctly. Which it isn't really in the game. I mean, it is sometimes. That's so complicated. That's gonna get a video, like I said. I don't want to dive into that. But throughout these movies, Deadpool has definitely become a lot deeper and come a lot closer to his comic book self. And I'm glad that he does change and deepen as a character, even if he doesn't really change at his core. And Wolverine in this movie gets a character arc too, a pretty good one that I enjoyed, and I don't really want to go too deep into it because that would be spoiler territory, and I want people to experience this movie for themselves. But just know, Wolverine gets to shine in this film, and it's glorious, alright? My beautiful king Wolverine is back, and he's better than ever. Alright, I'm not very good at segues, so we're just going to talk about the action now. And we're going to lightly talk about these things, alright? This is not supposed to be an in-depth video. Go watch the movie, please. Something I really wanted out of the Deadpool movies was a really wacky and fun action atmosphere, something stupid that you don't really see. And in this movie, there is actually a few fight scenes that are pretty stupid and fun, but in the other two movies, they aren't really like that. There is that one scene of Deadpool fucking running around at normal speeds while everybody else is in slow motion. That's pretty cool. That's pretty wacky. That's pretty funny. You know, it's really cool. I like it. And the opening of this film is a great example of what I wanted out of these movies. Something stupid, yet really cool and well choreographed. That's what I wanted out of the action in these movies. Sadly, a lot of the time, it boils down to Deadpool shooting and stabbing people, and that's kind of boring sometimes. I mean, it's alright. The opening of the first Deadpool movie is pretty cool, and I quite enjoyed the action all throughout the film, and especially the fight scenes between Deadpool and Wolverine themselves. I mean, those were definitely the most fun aside from the opening. They're really fun and stupid, and they incorporate really creative fighting styles into Deadpool's moveset, which always works better than him just shooting people. I'm always one to think that Deadpool fights really weirdly, like you can't predict his moves at all, which is why Taskmaster would be a really good Deadpool villain. And I heard online that the action was a little boring, but whoever had said that, I forgot. It was someone on TikTok? I don't really remember, to be honest. But they were really wrong because the fight scenes kept me entertained the whole time. Honestly, I really did enjoy this movie, and while it's not the best movie ever, it's still my favorite Deadpool movie, and I think it's the best one because it feels like so much love and care went into creating this film. I just can't help but like it so much. It feels like everybody really wanted this movie to be good, and it was good. Well, I don't think everyone will like it as much as I did because the humor doesn't always land and dialogue can be a little off sometimes, and the plot is pretty thin. I still think the movie can be really enjoyable all the way through, and I don't think it's meant to be taken as seriously as some people think it is. Even if I personally wish it was taken more seriously, there still are serious scenes in it, and it still helps the movie feel a little bit more grounded and nuanced, and I do like that when it is in Deadpool stories. 8 out of 10. I really did like it, but mostly because I'm a comic book nerd. Also, how the fuck did they get those cameos? Jesus Christ.